Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
What's up, true believers, and welcome to another episode of Marvel Mondays. This is your host, Tex-Mex Morty, and I am here with the rest of the panel. Let me go ahead and roll them in real quick. Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
What's up?
Hey.
What's up?
Yo.
So let's see who we got here today. We have my boy, Johnny Joe Star. How you doing, man?
Hey there, true believers. I'm doing pretty good. Just another day on Marvel Mondays. Getting ready to do some more talking and share some opinions about this stuff that I've been posting with the group. So I'm super excited.
All right, and is that my co-host, Mr. Oyman, I hear right there?
That is your co-host, Mr. Oyman, that you hear right there.
All right, what's up? What you been up to, man? Reading
Just,
anything new?
yeah.
Watching any new Marvel stuff? Anything worth sharing?
You know, just other than stuff that I kind of want to share for when we get into it today, but, you know, just kind of working on several things right now, multitasking a little bit, but I'm here for you guys. I'm excited to do the podcast, so yeah.
All right, and we also have Miss Cap. How you doing today, Miss Cap?
I'm doing all right. This week's topics are we have some good topics today.
All right, you actually let me bring in the board here. All right, so I brought in the board, and before we get started on this board here, we have Mr. JT on the panel as well. How you doing, man?
Dude, I am awesome. I can't wait to kind of start, this whole topic thing is really awesome. And, like some of the movies, actually, me and Miss Cap are going to watch Lightyear. It's based about the toy Buzz Lightyear. So if you guys want to watch it, please watch this weekend because there's going to be a lot of talk about it. A lot of kids going to watch it. It's going to be a blast and to infinity and beyond. So that's a movie I recommend for this weekend, Lightyear. Check it out.
I'm actually really looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, me too.
And of course, welcome in and anyone in the chat. If you feel free to go ahead and comment on there. And before we get started, go ahead and share this out. Get your friends and family in here, and that way we could get this party started, man. And if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. But let's get this thing going. Hey, Mr. Oyman, you mind muting your mic for a second? Okay, let me mute him myself. All right, sorry about that. All right, so could you guys still hear me though?
Yes.
Okay, I'm making sure that I didn't mute everyone and not just him. Not, I would just be talking like an idiot, and then before I know it, guess what, motherfucker? Everyone's gonna be talking, and then chat's gonna be like, "Hey, there's no one there. Who you talking to?" But anyways, so let's get all right. So as we could see on the board right there on our Daily Bugle Marvel Monday boards, we have a couple of news topics to start us off with. So of course this morning, hopefully you haven't missed out, but Thor tickets did go on sale today. As of I think what was it, like 9 or 10 in the morning this morning when they went on sale. So let's did y'all get your tickets by any chance?
I will be on vacation during that time.
Yes.
I have not gotten my tickets.
I'm gonna have to wait.
Yes, I can hear you, and no, I did not get the tickets.
Oh man. I thought at least one of y'all would have gotten tickets. I know Mr. Oyman and I got some tickets for I think he's got some for opening night. I'm gonna have to probably just wait till the weekend to watch it. Because I think we got some on Saturday too to watch it. But probably matinee. But I'm surprised that like half of the panel was like, nope. Oh shoot, we lost someone. Let me check in on Mr. Oyman real quick.
Can you hear me at all, Alex?
Yeah, you're still there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we muted you because you were talking in the background. You didn't mute yourself.
Okay. Yes, my bad.
No, we were talking about the Thor tickets.
Yeah. I was saying I got us for Saturday.
Yeah, you got us for Saturday, that's for sure. Apparently half of the panel's like, nah, we don't want it.
Oh, no. I didn't say that. What the hell?
Well-earned vacation. So I will
could,
be watching until I get back.
Go to the movies on vacation. It should be fun.
Yeah, what else do you do on the vacation?
When is it going to be?
Out of the country, so.
Oh, dang.
I don't know.
I mean, me, I if I was on vacation, I would go watch this movie. I'd go to a place that serves alcohol and just get a few drunks in. Maybe it'll make the movie better. Who knows? We'll see.
I would have to plan that out.
Gonna be good. Jeez. Why you gotta make it sound like it's gonna be like the worst thing?
I mean,
every movie is slightly better with alcohol involved.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I'll agree to that.
If you're over 21, drink responsibly. The Screen Crusaders and Marvel Mondays do not endorse unresponsible drinking. Please don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
You can find me
in the back alley of
Oh
Walgreens.
shit! What back alley? What the?
I'm just kidding.
No. Okay, now speaking of the Lord, Love and Thunder, it's supposed to be one of the shortest Marvel movies, like an hour and 30 minutes or something.
It's 2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, it's 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's an hour and 59 minutes, including credits though.
Everyone's gonna sit through anyway, so it's gonna be 2 hours.
Yeah, but that I don't count the credits as time, man. Of actual movie, it's like
at the end.
Yeah, but of actual movie footage,
it's
gonna be like an hour and 45, which is kind of short. But if Multiverse of Madness taught us something, is that even with the short runtime, they could tell a pretty like straight to the point,
Compelling
cohesive
story,
movie.
Yeah.
I think they've gotten to
Need
the
to be
point
long.
where they're also interconnected that they don't need to rely on setting up a whole bunch of stuff just to say something. They just now just get straight onto it.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
And in other movie news, we also got the news that Sony is deciding to re-release Morbius for the third.
Morbius!
No.
Third time.
We got
I
50,000
lied.
signatures.
No, yeah, they're not releasing Morbius. Thankfully, I don't think they'll fall for the
It's
memes
not
the
Morbid
second
time?
time. No,
Not Morbid time. Damn.
Not with
But,
the second failure.
Oh god.
That's a
Um,
shame.
well, maybe who knows? Maybe they'll go for the 3 strikes and you're out type of mentality in order to maybe third time's the charm, right, Sony? But in other words, they are re-releasing No Way Home in theaters. Do you know the exact release date, Mr. Oyman?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. Okay. Yeah, I
Labor Day.
forgot which one it was.
Beginning of September. The same weekend that Shang-Chi came out last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're
Okay.
re-releasing that. As I was mentioning to Mr. Oyman, I know we talked about this, but some of you guys, I didn't get the full discussion with you guys. Did you guys see either the re-release of Endgame or No Way Home, or not No Way Home, or Far From Home when they came out?
No.
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 Just
Okay.
Far From Home.
Well, describe what
Give
was
it a nice
on. Describe what happened on the Far From Home. Like, well, was it anything substantial, Mr. Oyman?
So they have, if you buy the DVD, or the Blu-ray, they have something called like Peter's Peter's Errand Run, I think it's called, where he's like doing some last-minute errands before he goes out of town, and then he encounters a mafia that he fights in his Iron Spider suit,
Oh shit! I haven't.
which was
Oh,
in the
cool.
marketing, but they cut it out
Mhm.
for the official release, but they put it back
Oh,
into
okay.
the extended cut. And then there was like another brief scene with Mysterio and his goons setting up the van that had the like EMP thing that was showing up on Fury's radar near the end of the movie. So there's like one scene there, but other than that, it amounted to like 5 or 6 minutes in total. It wasn't that much.
Wait, so you said it's on the Blu-ray?
Yeah, they're like deleted scenes on the. I'm pretty sure they're on the Blu-ray. They're
Oh
online
man, I
anyway.
never saw those, and I have the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Yeah, they just edited them into the movie. So with No Way Home, they were gonna obviously release deleted scenes on the Blu-ray release, and then they're like, "Wait a minute, we can milk this for even more money. $3 billion isn't enough, so we're gonna just hold off and re-release the movie with the deleted scenes that we know people will pay for."
That's Endgame. Endgame was well, at least it sounds substantial, unlike
Endgame
Endgame.
was
Endgame-
Endgame was not an
Yeah.
extended cut.
When-
It was
when
just-
worth it.
It was literally unfinished CGI X-Men Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine bootleg level shit, where they just had one scene where Shrek Hulk hops on, answers a phone call, and then leaves, and then they're like, "Thank you for coming in."
and then they had like the
Yeah.
opening to Far From Home after that.
Yeah.
Opening
Bullshit.
scene, that was it.
Oh.
And like a
There's
Stan Lee
still
thing.
some more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I appreciate it because I wanted to watch Endgame with like fifth time or something like that. But it still kind of pissed me off because I'm like, that's all they're giving us after me
There
wanting
were
to.
actual deleted scenes that you can see on Disney Plus that they could have put in the movie. If they
Yeah, and
wanted
I don't
to.
even think some of those made it onto the Blu-ray either.
Nope, they're only on Disney Plus. It's kind of weird why certain
What
things
the
are
heck?
exclusive to that. No,
That is
Yeah.
so weird.
it is.
I haven't even seen them. I guess I'm gonna check it out
You
later.
should check them out. They're good. I like them. Some of them anyway.
All right. So, and on the bigger news report on there, it's actually that it's not an official Marvel reveal, but it's from Deadline. And again, I said it before. Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter, whenever they actually put something, 9 out of 10 times they get it right, and I'll stick by that word that I said. So, pretty much confirms that the Thunderbolts movie is actually happening. So I'm pretty stoked about that. How do you guys feel about that? We'll start with you, Mr. Oyman, and then you get to choose who goes next.
Yeah, I think the Thunderbolts is kind of something that they've obviously been building up to with, giving Zemo and Taskmaster and Yelena Belova some character development recently. So it seems like they've got a lot of stuff that they're planting for that film. I kind of feel like it should have been a series, but
Yep.
or at least have a series
I
built
agree.
into the
Mhm.
movie.
Yep.
However, I'm not so sure with the writer being the writer of Black Widow. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be underwhelming, but I'm kind of leaning more towards it most likely being underwhelming. But who knows? I might end up coming out of it liking it more than I'm expecting. I just think again, there's so many. There's so many things that Marvel's tackling right now that who knows if they'll even be able to pull everything off. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how it turns out for sure. And I think once we get closer to getting to the release, we know a release date, we know some details like who's going to actually be in it, then we might get a better idea of what to expect from it. Sorry, that was.
I was wondering. I'm like, I'm hearing music.
I was muting it. Yeah, it was the end of the Adam Project.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're watching and streaming at the same time. Oh.
David was. I'm moving into a different room now, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. And
Wait, but I feel like I should say this. Why is Black Widow underwhelming? Like, what the hell? Like,
Well,
what?
mostly okay. So the thing is,
It was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
It was good, but the way that they treated Taskmaster was admittedly pretty underwhelming as someone who really likes that character.
Yeah.
However, they now have
okay.
knowing Marvel, they now have a chance to redeem themselves and redeem the character. So we'll see. That
Yes.
might be something kind of cool. I like the actress who plays her.
I'll personally say Black Widow was very underwhelming for me. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I've said
not
it.
at all.
But
I thought it was good.
Mr. Joestar, I feel like it was a very mid, very generic Marvel movie.
I can understand that. I can understand
like,
that.
the writing was very lazy, in my opinion, and
I
other
agree,
than the
and
characters.
I was more hyped for that movie than anyone.
Yeah, like
If
I
you
did
know
like
me,
Red
I'm-
Guardian. I liked Florence Pugh as Yelena.
I like Rachel
The
Weisz, she
characters
was
were
good, too.
decently written. The plot itself and the villain was very, very weak, in my opinion. So,
I agree.
a series
But
or
it
not
still
even a
doesn't
series.
mean it doesn't mean though that the writer can't I mean that might have been like one of their first big superhero movies. So now that they kind of got it out of the way, they now sort of know what to expect when writing something like that. The only thing that and you got a pretty experienced director, just not a director who's experienced with a lot of big budget films. They've done mostly TV and smaller films. So Jake Scheifer, I think is his name.
Yeah,
like
sounds
that.
about right.
Mhm.
And on
But,
top of that,
we'll see.
Mr. Joestar, why are you even asking that question? Were you not here last week when
When John-
JT ripped it a fucking new one?
JT ripped it apart.
Well,
He was like, that shit's
yes.
trash. I'll go back in time and just eliminate it.
Speaking of
No,
which,
no,
speaking of which,
No,
hold
like
on.
what he was saying, it was badly misplaced. Like it should have been like in the correct order, and I completely agreed with that. But the thing is, it's like I do agree with like the bad guy. Like I mean, they just kind of like like they did because he's supposed to be like one of like another greatest assassins, kind of a thing where it's like built to, super strong and all this stuff, and he could do all these things, and like they kind of cut him short where you're just kind of like, huh, okay, well, I guess that's the end of that person, and then.
So I do want to say though, with the Thunderbolts, a lot of people are expecting like, oh, this is going to be Marvel's Suicide Squad. Well, the Thunderbolts are more like actual villains who pose as being heroes, and then it turns out that they're actually villains. So I think that there's a lot that Marvel is kind of setting up, both in their shows and films. There's going to be a lot of payoff in this film, I believe, especially depending where they place it, of course. But I know obviously with She-Hulk kind of introducing or not reintroducing the Abomination's most likely going to carry over into the Thunderbolts, and we'll probably get Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to show up too. Like, yeah,
in the movie.
Yeah.
Valentina Contessa
okay.
Allegra, whatever her name is, she'll be in it too.
Ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, Fury,
Yeah.
Yes.
The Hulk.
Oh man, my mic was off. I didn't even read that out loud. All right, let me read that one more time. If you could have any superpower and use it any way that you want, but every time you use it, you had to shit your pants, what would it be? What would it be, panel? And what's up, Rusty Shackelford? Sorry you didn't hear my original introduction to you.
I'd rather not have any superpower if it meant having to shit my pants every time. But if I had to pick one, I guess.
Hey, with great power comes great responsibility.
I would have the power to turn any material into any other kind of material that I want to. So anytime I shit my pants, I can just turn it into something useful to use against bad guys.
That's actually pretty good.
Matter manipulation.
Man,
There
Mr.
you go.
Oyman's on
Okay.
point. What about you, Johnny Joestar? But you can't do the same one as Mr. Oyman.
Okay.
Different. Oh no.
It's cool. I'm not really for this, but I would actually turn invisible so I could just, basically just escape the scene. It's like,
See
I'm
the
gonna
skid mark.
do this.
So
Yeah.
no one could see your
Floating
shit.
skid mark.
Yeah. Well, they'll see my shit. It's just like it's just gonna be after I'm already out of there. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, what about you,
Like, what
Miss
smells like
Cap?
shit? I don't see anything.
What would be your superpower?
Flexibility.
I almost went with that one.
Honestly,
that was a close second.
I just don't have to get up from the couch and just go stretch my arm out, go get something, don't have to worry about
There you
it.
go.
And then after you stretch your arm,
Grab the
Shit
toilet
my
paper.
pants.
there you go. And of course, what about you, Mr. JT?
Oh, this would be a tough one, but I will able to fly. Yeah, I'll fly.
Fly
So,
away
like-
from this.
So you're like a giant bird.
Yeah.
Is that a plane? Is that a bird? Oh, he just shit on me.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be like those insecticide planes that just pass by and just go over the crops. It's gonna be just JT going just all over. Oh man.
What about you,
Uh,
Tex-Mex Morty? What would yours be?
I guess I would have to go with probably super
You go with
speed.
super speed.
Yeah.
Get
I'll
out of
make
here.
some,
Zoom.
like Star-Lord says, I'm gonna make some weird shit, man. I'll just do like, I go up buildings and just like at our high school, Mr. Oyman, just put fuck Williams on the side of buildings.
You would run so fast that the turd particles would dissipate as you running fast.
You know what though? I think I might change mine. Cause what if you had the ability to like make other people shit too, and then you wouldn't be the only one. So like, if I'm using my powers, everybody in that room is gonna shit themselves. So, I think I'd be like,
mind manipulation.
Yeah.
Oh man, so Rusty, our friend Rusty over here, he says that his would be invisibility, like translucent. That way there's just a random dump on the floor. Quick
that's what
question.
I was saying too. That's what I was thinking too. And then I was just like,
quick
you know
question.
what?
Nobody would know who it was.
Quick question, Rusty, though. Is your poop translucent, or is it just like you are translucent? So like, do you want to lay like a random turd on like somebody's floor right next to their desk and then they slip on it because they can't see it? Or do you want it to be visible?
Such a highly intelligent conversation we're having.
I mean, this is the best caveat we've got.
I bet you anything he'd probably turn it invisible.
You can only smell it, and you're like, you can never find it. You're like, what is that? Oh man!
Oh,
So
God.
maybe we should get back to the Thunderbolts because not
Yeah.
everyone got a chance to go.
Yeah.
Okay, wait,
Let's
but
see.
Rusty
go ahead.
did answer my question though, real quick. He said it would be a normal log on the floor.
All right.
Keeping it old school. Let's go.
Yeah.
I
What
like
do you-
it.
I'd stay in the room and just be invisible in the corner and just wait to just see the reaction.
You're like, we don't have a dog. Who did this?
Yeah, and then I'd get arrested and end up in the Thunderbolts. But yeah, back to the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Nice segue.
Impressive.
But
He's the
So,
atomic. He's the
here,
atomic shitter.
Let's. I guess since you were kind of going, Johnny Joe Star, what are your thoughts on the Thunderbolts? What first off, what do you know about the Thunderbolts?
See, that's the thing is I don't really know much. I just did a little bit of reading, and then I got the whole like they're bad guys, but they're trying to pose as good guys and stuff like that. So I got that feeling. I was kind of crushed when you're like, no, it's not like another Suicide Squad. I thought that's what it kind of is supposed to be because necessarily like Suicide Squad is kind of like that. They're still assholes at the end of the day,
But
They're
they're
gonna
still
be
villains.
yeah, they're
Being,
still.
like forced to save the world sort of thing. The Thunderbolts are more like we're posing as heroes. Like
Yeah.
Zemo goes under the guise as a superhero called Citizen V, but he's Baron Zemo.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
yeah, so and that's the thing is just it
It's
sounds
kind
like
of cool.
actually
We
like
haven't really gotten it.
yeah, and that's the thing is just it actually kind of brings the light for like evil and the bad guys and stuff like how manipulative they can be, which it kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of like the Amazon show The Boys, how they have that Superman dude. Man, I just saw it yesterday. I
Homelander.
forgot. Yeah, Homelander. Sorry, I just saw it yesterday. I forgot
good,
his
you're good.
name. But that's the way that I kind of feel, and I hope that they kind of bring that into light, which is like how because they're not stupid, they're evil masterminds. So like I mean, and the fact that they'll have like the Taskmaster and like what is it, a ghost and all that stuff. So I completely agree on what you said. Hopefully they'll redeem this, and also I do agree that they should have a show instead of just a movie, because then at least they could take their time and make it way bigger. Like maybe they could do like I don't know if they want to do like half the season or the first season on how they actually got together and then formed the team. You know what I'm saying? And then
And
it
have
can
the
actually
actual story be a
yeah,
yeah.
and it'll lead to something better versus like you're kind of just cramming all this crap all in one movie, which sometimes that's the worst thing that you do because going back, that's how Morbius was. Because seeing that movie, like it just looked like they crammed so much stuff
Yeah.
so freaking fast. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm sick, and then it goes to like the next scene. Yeah, I'm on a boat, and then it just goes, yeah, I took this stuff. Now I can fly, and then like I'm just like, whoa, this dude.
Well,
But then again, though, I was like halfway drunk, so like that's why I say like maybe I might have missed some steps, but
I will say though that what's it called? In terms of
At least they've
like you said,
introduced everyone.
yeah,
right?
they've introduced people and they are kind of in the background introducing through Don't Call Her Val lady.
Yeah.
They are
Through,
introducing
like,
that she is
mid-credit
doing
scenes and stuff.
Yeah, they are showing that she is making a team, so I don't think we're gonna get a whole like this is how the team came together. I think when the movie starts, it's gonna just already be there.
It'll have happened in other movies leading up to it. Like
Yeah.
side scenes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Which I think
okay.
could work.
And
Because like
they-
Suicide Squad and Morbius and all that had to introduce those characters in one movie. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, right.
and this is all-
right.
yeah.
And I mean, we already know who Abomination is. We know Ghost. We know Zemo.
Zemo
We know
and-
U.S. Agent. We
Oh,
know
yeah, he's the other
Black Widow. And those are just
Yeah,
speculations.
yeah.
But again,
Wait, what? She's gonna be a part of that too?
She's definitely going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
Instead
said,
of the
And Taskmaster. It'll probably be both.
yeah. And
Oh, okay, that's what
Yeah.
I was saying. Yeah, Taskmaster.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, but like I said,
Interesting.
this is this type of stuff that I've been actually saying was going to happen for a few years now. I actually personally thought they were going to go more marketable and call them the Dark Avengers. I know it's another team, but I thought they wanted that Avengers name in it. But
Avengers Lane. Yeah.
yeah,
cool.
I'm kind of glad that they are going to stick with what I personally would have had to be the Thunderbolts. And I know Mr. Oyman, because I told him I want to see them on the big screen at some point back when I was collecting the run where they had the Red Hulk, Elektra, Punisher, Ancient Venom, and stuff like that.
Ooh, Agent Venom would be cool.
But well, that's on Sony's camp. But Mr.
I know.
JT, we got based on the information we do have. Again, the list that I said is still speculation. It's not confirmed, but it's most likely going to be that team up right there. But
Right.
if you had a choice, how would you feel your Thunderbolts team would be? Who would you put on it? Because again, it doesn't always have to be the bad guys. Sometimes they do have a good guy kind of keeping them in check, kind of
Balance
like
it, yeah,
kind of like
balance it out.
Rick Flag was in in Suicide Squad.
But
They
Okay.
sometimes have a character like that depending which run you read. But who would you choose on the roster based on the
Okay,
characters
so
that we already have?
yeah, so I'll keep the team, but also I will add Deadpool to the team for one because he's a comic relief
Ooh,
character,
yeah,
and also
that's a
like
good
Brian
one.
Mendel's persona, along with like Florence Pugh's character
That would be great.
Yelena, that might have like some like cool like banter going back and forth about how everything with that what. And also speaking of Thunderbolts movies, I'm looking forward to it. But because I hope that it will be kind of like an R rated because there are villains posing
Yes,
as bad guys, and I hope that Marvel actually push the boundaries of a little bit of violence, quote unquote, in the movies because this is Zemo and all these bad guys have done like a lot of like destruction
Big
over
guy
the course
things.
of the movie. So hopefully Marvel will make this rated R, but I doubt it. But like I said, if the script is right, then it could like push the boundaries of a hard PG of a hard PG-13 movie, or maybe an R if they up to the challenge.
Oh, but
Yeah,
man, like,
probably wouldn't get your hopes up for an R, but maybe pushing a PG-13, kind of like Multiverse of Madness did.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, oh, man, that would be so cool though, because like, I mean, I wonder who they would pick as the people they would fight against. Maybe like Zemos is still bummed from like the last,
Well,
like for
they would still be
like
going after
Bucky and stuff like
villains.
that.
They'd just be posing as heroes, though.
Oh.
But like with their own villainous ulterior motive that Val is kind of setting them up with. I wonder if they'll have Thaddeus Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, since they are called the Thunderbolts. But since William Hurt is no longer with us, they might just write him out completely.
They'll go after Red.
Ooh.
Who knows? CGI.
Miss Cap, what do you think?
Actually kind of excited about it. It's a really interesting concept that I'm hoping that I get to see it, on like it's an interesting topic on paper, and I think it could, eventually become something good. I think I do agree that I kind of probably want to see it as a series, with all the different characters that they have mentioned that may be possibly a part of this group. And I think even though, yes, they have been introduced in different movies and shows, I think still having that concept of how like they got together and like what they're actually facing, I think is something that like would be really interesting to watch. But I'm actually excited about it. The characters that were mentioned, really interesting to see them again and also see some more character development into them, just like villain of a superhero from a different movie. So I'm really excited to actually see it, and if it does become a thing, that they actually do this and do it well. So yeah, go on.
Concur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're already planting the seeds for it, so you can only keep building up
Yeah.
until it comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was just saying, like, just to kind of put that back, like the person that would be kind of like the Rick Flag, I would have even guessed like it would have been like maybe Bucky or something like that, because
the Rick Flag of the group, my guess would be John Walker, but he thinks he's a hero.
Also, like Winter Soldier is supposed to be a part of this too.
I don't think he will, just because he's not going as Winter Soldier anymore. He's kind of like, I think he'll be in it, but I don't think he'll be a part of the Thunderbolts.
But he could be that Flag.
True. Yeah. I could see that. That could.
But yeah, I personally agree with the statement that was said earlier, though, that I personally think that it should be more of a series. So even though we do know these characters, I don't want another Eternals to happen. I know Marvel's good at doing ensemble characters, but it's when you have a bunch of like very stark contrast characters and this type of story that they could go with it, and the powers that these characters usually have, they don't require a huge budget, so they could get away with it on something like Disney Plus budget. But we'll see. Hopefully, it's super cool. But we'll just have to wait and see till we get more details. The ones we have right now have me intrigued, but not super stoked based, again, just on the track record that we have, which is the Black Widow rider. So it's it is
I think
what
once
it
we
is.
see a trailer, we'll get a better idea.
I'm not writing it off because, again, the writers of Ant-Man and the Wasp were the ones who wrote Spider-Man No Way Home, and I like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but there's definitely a huge step up from that writing to the No Way Home writing, and I'm hoping that would be a similar case for this writer.
Yeah.
But they had, but the thing is, it's like they did have more to write about. You know what I'm saying? Because like we all know Spider-Man, and like they could work with like a lot of stuff with him. You know what I'm saying? Because like
the writers of Infinity War and Endgame also wrote Thor 2, so there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
So
with the right guidance,
don't
with the
really
right
write it
guidance.
off, but yeah.
Marvel's got their plan. They're just they are definitely introducing a whole lot more than I would have expected post Endgame, but we'll see. It hasn't really been deteriorating too much. I mean, obviously some things are going to be better than others just because of the amount of the volume of stuff they're putting out. Obviously, not everything is going to be as good as most of their best stuff, but I think Thunderbolts has the potential to be something really unique in the MCU and and catch a lot of people off guard. Like people are going to probably go into it thinking they'll know what to expect, and it'll actually be a lot better than people are expecting. But only time could tell.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the nitty-gritty of this episode. Of course, we had Miss Marvel debut her episode 1 last Wednesday. We're getting a new episode this Wednesday, but so let's talk about the most show of the week. It was something that I saw. The most show of all time.
Most show?
The better of the Disney Plus shows right now.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that. Rotten Tomatoes says the percentage is higher, but I want to see those average scores because it could have 95%.
Obi-Wan hasn't been doing it for me. I'm just saying.
Well, we're talking about
current shows.
Oh, well, we're talking about Ms. Marvel, so let's go ahead and...
We'll keep it on that.
Yeah. Crush my dream in like 3 seconds.
Well, no, I'm not even going to get started. I'm not going to get started on Obi-Wan. Let's drop it because I could go on. Like, I could keep going on that one. I'm on the same boat Mr. Oyman is. It's all right, but it's not great. But let's keep going. Ms. Marvel.
Let's stick with
JT, what were your first impressions of it?
So when I first started watching the episode, it reminds me of like into this, like the whole like Spider-Man Homecoming, in terms of like a coming of age, where like for like a strict family, and she wants to become something else, while her parents wants her to kind of like follow the rules of her religion and her family prestige and everything, but she wants to become a big superhero, like try to go out there and see the world from a different perspective. And then we see all these kind of interesting drawings, like reminds me of like Spider-Man to Spider-Verse, like those like colorful like imagery and everything. And believe it or not, I think I'm enjoying the show. I know that it's a kid show, hard, but to me, it's more of a kind of like a fresh perspective of like post Endgame, where like Avenger Con, where like they kind of like celebrating the life of like all these Avengers before them, especially with Iron Man and Black Widow and the Morrow, like at Avenger Con, like keeping that memory alive of, hey, we can be whatever they want if we put our minds to it, so on and so forth. So, I think it's a great introduction to a character. I think it's gonna be interesting going down the line about. I know that she's going to become. I know she's going to be in the Young Avengers movie pretty soon, but I think it's a nice addition to the character to the Disney Plus lineup. Well, just like, hey, if you're like a little girl or a boy or something who wants to become a superhero of your choice, I think this would be a perfect show to kind of say, hey, I can be whatever I want to be despite my parents' wishes, because like I know what I want to do in my future. So I mean, I think it's a pretty good start. I'm enjoying it so far, and I kind of like the colorfulness. There's so much color, and just the overall atmosphere is kind of lively. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
Gonna get
yeah,
some
I agree with
cameos in
that.
it too. Coming along, I can already tell it's that type of show that's gonna set up a lot of cameos, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff being set up throughout the whole show. I feel that it's gonna make it kind of a required viewing down the road, more so than people are expecting. Is how I feel about it. But
Well, I don't think a required viewing, but I think it's gonna be like helps. Like I don't think it's gonna be from WandaVision to what's it called? WandaVision to Multiverse of Madness. But I think it's gonna be like kind of like Loki was to Multiverse of Madness, where it's like it kind of helps lay some of the groundwork, but not completely the foundation. It just kind of fills in the gaps.
Man, I didn't even think about that. That's actually pretty good. Wow.
But what about you, Miss Cap? What was your opinion on the first episode?
First episode, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than I thought I was. Really set up a lot of things for her future. I think just setting her up as a character, her being, a 16-year-old Pakistani New Jersey, her best friend is a super tech, so that's gonna come down, that's gonna happen, like, help her later down the road. She's in between something, her dream, and then, what she needs to do for her family, and so that split decision that like every teenager goes through. And honestly, I was like, I kind of really at the very end, I kind of connected with her a little bit, and I was just like, okay, I kind of see where this is going. But overall, I can't really wait to see where this takes her and how her powers kind of manifest more. Because right now, that's kind of my one little downfall is how her powers are manifesting, and I really want to see how they're going to explain that in this type of universe. So that's my only like little unsurety is her powers. But overall, I actually did enjoy it. It did give me homecoming vibes though, like JT said. But definitely cannot wait to actually see where her powers are going to take her and what's going to happen next. So
What about you, Mr. Joe Star? Did this more or less feel like what you expected, or exceeded, or fell below what you expected?
Well, it was actually way better than I thought as well. Because, I mean, okay, the only thing that I got from Mrs. Marvel was like a glimpse of it from like the video game, which was complete trash. And I mean, the animation was great. It was okay. I mean, for what it is. But the thing is, it's like I was just kind of like, huh, like okay, I get it. She's like a fan, and it's every little girl and boy's dream to just sit there and then get like something magical, and then they become like a giant superhero. So it has like the same formula as like the Spider-Man, now she's an outcast and stuff, so it actually does a little bit better than the video game. So they introduced her pretty well, but also it is kind of like nice to see that Hispanic families aren't the only ones with like sometimes like heart-crushing mothers, because like they are pretty rough with the females, like if anything, because the Latin community, like for some reason, like they idolize more men than they do the women, and that's just old-fashioned stuff from like back then. But I mean, going back to this story, like it is kind of relieving to actually see that we're not the only ones that kind of do that, which was just kind of funny because like I was saying earlier to you guys, like one of my best friends would come over to my place, and then my mom usually just goes, "Hey, you hungry?" And it's like, "No, we're about to actually leave. No, I'll make you a plate. No, we're about to go right now. I'll make you a plate right now." So everybody, and that was the rule. Like, I mean, if you kind of know, like if you guys ever come to my place, I'm kind of used to that. I'm like, "Hey, are you guys okay? Are you guys hungry? You guys want me to make you a sandwich or something?" It's like, "Yeah, dude, like, okay." But it was actually kind of nice to see a little bit of that, but at the same time, it was kind of like crushing because I know how that also is kind of like us, we're the outcasts. We're also the ones that are, they kind of pushed us around like all these pretty people, like, and then we're kind of like the slumming it sometimes, but then we get, our rock, and then they push us, and then we finally move forward, and we're actually badass now. So it was actually pretty good. It was actually well done, and I actually am really looking forward to the second episode. But yeah,
Okay.
I just really wish like they would just finally just do a thing where they just come out with all of them instead of just one by one, because it's just annoying. The boys all over again.
What about you, Mr. Oyman? What would you say about this episode?
All right, so give me a second here. So, like a lot of people, this was definitely the least anticipated show as far as Marvel shows go, only because, it's not like to me, marketing wise, it didn't feel like they were trying to make it inclusive for all audiences in the way that other Marvel shows are, or movies or whatever. But after seeing it, I was actually really impressed with it. I thought that not only did it introduce the character in a way that made it really easy really made her easily relatable, because most Marvel fans can relate to wanting to be a superhero and idolizing their favorite hero and living in a world where superheroes exist. Obviously, this show did a good job at kind of filling that in, but what I really took away from this pilot, and why I'm excited for the rest of the series, is the direction and the camera work and the editing is so well done, like really movie quality. This is kind of what I've been waiting for as far as Marvel shows go, because I thought that the whole thing was not only well paced, but there was so many creative choices that the editors and directors made that really bring the show to life and really make it feel like a comic book come to life. And you can't really say that for too many Marvel or really comic book shows in general. It kind of reminded me of how they let Sam Raimi really do his thing for Multiverse of Madness. Like, the direction was really on display there, and it really kind of helped the actors in the show stand out. I thought everyone, whether it was her principal or her counselor or her mom, dad, brother, like all of these characters, I think are gonna they all had a more likable factor than I was expecting, and making everyone seem very, very relatable. But I really liked the chemistry she had with Bruno, her friend Bruno, which is a character from the comics. I think every character in this show is from the comic. The first issue of Miss Marvel with Kamala Khan, they were actually taking a lot of lines directly from the comic and kind of changing them up to fit this show. There were like a couple things they changed. Like, instead of her going to a party in the comic, in the show she goes to Avengers Con, which I kind of wish that they had changed the line where her mom's like, "There's gonna be boys there, and boys only want one thing." And it's like, that doesn't really mean anything when you're talking about going to an Avengers Con. Like, everyone there's gonna be a nerd. If she was asking to go to a party, that response from her mom would make more sense.
But the thing is that oh no.
I think that would.
Well, no. I think, but how I do agree with her mom, like being like, "Hey, how about your dad goes with you, because you're still only a 16-year-old." And okay, here's what I think the way that her mom should have handled that or responded to that, instead of saying like, "Oh, there's boys there." I think her mom should have been more like, "This is an Avengers Con, and we live in a world where anyone can just get snapped, or aliens can just appear out of anywhere, and an Avengers Con is probably gonna draw some trouble. So your dad is going with you." That would have made a lot more sense to me. But I still really, really liked it. Like, it was like the minorest of problems you could possibly have with it. Like, I really didn't have a problem with it at all. I did think that that the Avengers Con could have been a little bit more extravagant. Like, they did okay. It looked a little bit TV show-ish, but I also understand that this was the first one. So it kind of made sense that it looked the way it did, but I also feel like in a world where the Avengers actually do exist, they probably would make Avengers Con look a little bit more like Comic Con. But it was great. There were a lot of great Easter eggs in that scene, and finding out that a lot of people found out the events from Endgame through Ant-Man's, what do you call it, his podcast.
It was his podcast.
Yeah, his podcast.
And there's just a lot of like answers that we kind of got in that segment, and I also like that they didn't make the bully character Zoe like as awful bully-like as you normally would expect them to. I think she's
Yeah.
going to be a character
This
that more
is-
people are going to relate to than you would think, because she still
Mhm.
came dressed up herself too, and it was kind of cool seeing
Mhm.
her wear the original Miss Marvel suit. There was a lot of little Easter eggs for the comic fans in this episode.
I'm pretty sure she would have died when she got slammed by the giant hammer up against the wall and then fell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I thought she did. I
Yeah.
thought she did. She would have like had a concussion
I
or
was like,
something.
good
I was
job,
like,
Miss
oh,
Marvel.
man.
Your first task as a superhero, and you just say deuces and jump out of the way and let the person just
Giant
get wrecked.
hammer. I mean, the giant hammer could have been made of foam. What I called bullshit on was the giant Ant-Man head rolling around, not killing anyone. I was like, okay, there's
Oh,
no way that
yeah.
thing would
Yeah.
be destroying as much stuff as
Well,
it
yeah,
did.
but
Like,
that hammer,
it
like,
wasn't the
the hammer, like, launched her and
hit her.
slammed her on the
Yeah.
wall, and then she fell face first. And
she
I
would
get,
definitely be injured,
I get that she
if not
fell.
dead.
Yeah, I was about to say, I get that she fell on Kamala's hand thing, but that thing looks like it's crystals or energy, so she
Oh,
still,
yeah, good point.
she still would have fallen from like 10, 15 feet on her face onto that.
See what you're saying. Yeah, there were a couple like little overly cartoony bits like that, which I do expect from the whole show, because it is a show for kids. But what I'm saying is that given that it is a show for kids, I do feel like it actually feels like it adults and teens and really parents, anyone of any age can kind of at least get on board with it, even if you might
Yeah.
not like it as much as other
Yeah.
Marvel stuff, which is
Mhm.
what the MCU has been really, really good at. That's what they're able to get people like the wide general audience to care about a movie with a talking raccoon in a tree. So it's like this kind of goes to show you that you can have a little like a high school Muslim girl who you never would think would be the focus of a superhero show and actually pull it off as well as they did. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited for where
Yeah.
they're gonna go. It was cool seeing that guy from No Way Home pop up too, because I was like, when they
That's
said
who that was,
FBI
right?
or something,
Was
I
that
was
Damage
like,
Control?
Oh.
yeah, I'd heard that the
Oh.
FBI had showed up in
Kinda
this show,
he
and I was
was.
like, they should have that guy from No Way Home appear in this show, and then sure enough, there he was. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, is that the guy from Damage
Okay.
Control or what? And
Yeah,
it
Damage
was.
Control.
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense now.
All right. So, did you go? You went already, Miss Cap, right? And JT.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
everyone's gone.
Yes.
so far.
If I
Alright.
could comment though, like I mean, I can actually say like the whole like, thing about the mom. It's because she doesn't understand none of the Marvel stuff. Like I get that. I totally agree what
Oh,
you said
yeah.
though about the whole like aliens and stuff. Like that makes way more sense. But at the same time though, they're just oblivious. That's how oblivious they are. Which that kind of goes back to like Hispanic families and like the bilingual like side because like I mean they don't really understand what's going on. I mean, to them, it's just like
It's a different
terrorism
culture.
from like yeah. And they don't get that. Like they just think of like they're just thinking of her as like a 16-year-old and what could happen because your body's changing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like
I like the point that you brought up about them idolizing men more than women, which is why her mom was like, okay, you can go, but you have to be the Hulk, not wear a skimpy girl outfit. It's like, what the fuck? But that's probably pretty true in the Muslim culture, I would think. They're very modest about everything.
yeah. But I mean, like that goes with like Hispanic families too, man. Like I mean,
Yeah.
if
And Asian families, a lot of families, really.
oh yeah, and I mean like it's just I think like for a lot of things, man, like even Latino like culture, like they'll straight up like destroy like women's dreams and be like, no, you're like good for a housewife, and I'm just like, dang. Because I
Yeah,
didn't
I
believe
know.
that because and it sucks because like for the most part of my life like I didn't believe that because I'm a guy, but then like at some point like you end up meeting other people in this world and then they're like, no, my mom's pretty brutal and like they're old school, and I'm just like, well, what would they do? Like, oh well, she called me fat once, and I was just like, oh crap, and then that's where
Yeah.
when they're in that shop and then they're like, oh well, she's gonna go touring around the world and and it's
Mhm.
terrible because it is like that. And in Spanish, it's called chisme, and it's bad. All right, chisme is the worst thing in the world because literally, like, it's just bad gossip. All right, because it's just like, oh, so did you hear that your cousin's gonna go like across the world? Like, she's so bad.
I liked
It's
that.
like
That was so cool. She's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
She's living her
Y-
dream and doing
dream.
her.
Yeah,
And they're, like,
exactly,
looking so
And
down
they
exactly.
on
shut her
her.
down. Yeah.
That's our generation right there. That's our generation saying, no, that's fantastic. But old generation is where it comes to, where it's just like, no, 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 no. Like, you have to be, with your husband, and you have to stay there. And it sucks
Gotta
because,
serve your
like,
husband, do what he wants you, be there for
yeah.
him, all that, instead of live your own life.
Oh yeah, and it sucks because, like, I mean, at least they actually brought this show into that light where it just shows, yeah, like, believe me, no offense to the Caucasian people out there, but I will say, like, and it's true. Like, I mean, like, I've seen parents be very, very, very lenient to, like, their kids, and I mean, I remember the one time, like, I was hanging out with my friend, and literally he talked back to his mom, and he's just like, shut up. And then, like, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's so bad. Like, why would you do that?
Do that.
Man, if I ever said shut up, probably wouldn't even finish that sentence, because it'd be like a flip flop flying towards my face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like,
Yes.
bam, or that, or,
Like,
oh, okay, you want me to shut up? I'll be quiet until you're done. Tell him. And then
you
it's
wouldn't
like, wait,
dare.
what?
Yeah,
No,
you
no.
went there.
You're not
No.
wrong.
And so that's one of the things that I do like. I mean, also the visual effects. I do agree with you guys on that one too. The visual effects was amazing, but yeah, definitely the culture behind this, because, like, it actually kind of brings to light, like, people can be so oblivious from the old ways, and it's actually, this whole thing is changing. I can't really say that, because it does sound bad when I say this. Like, Caucasians have it a little bit easier with that, because, like, they don't have as strict parents. Not all, of course, because, some of them, actually have a brain and they know how to treat their children.
But, like,
but the
in
thing
comparison to, I see what you're saying. You're definitely
Yeah.
not
Most,
wrong
in
about
most
that.
Oh, yeah.
cultural
Most
Yeah.
cultures.
households,
Yeah.
there's that divider.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
I don't want to sound like, a racist when I say stuff like this. But the
Yeah.
thing is, it's like,
I am offended. Eastern
What was
Europeans.
Mel Karen.
Okay.
But
That's true. Like,
It's
parents
Dave.
are more strict to other people that aren't in their family than they are to their own
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. But definitely, I do love what they brought to light. So that's why I'm, like, super excited to see what's going to happen next, because we've necessarily all been in that hole. We've all were super young at some point, and we disobeyed our parents, and we've disappointed them a couple of times, and it's just nice because it is relatable. It is relatable to all of
Really
us. So
relatable, yeah.
When she said that to her dad about, like, no, I don't, you're gonna ruin the whole thing. Like, I felt so bad for him. Like, that really
I did too.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad.
But you know what's the worst part? It's that we've all lived through that. We've all said something out of anger, or out of, like, because we're so embarrassed of our parents because they do weird stuff. And I'm pretty sure in the future we're gonna end up doing the exact same thing. I mean,
Same thing to our kids.
think about it, like,
but
this. I mean,
That way.
you don't.
But
You
yeah.
don't know, because, like, let's think about it this way: like, you have your own kids, and then you're still into Marvel as you are right now. You want to dress up like Spider-Man, and you just show up and you're like, "Yeah, I'm Spider-Man," and then, like, next thing you know, your daughter's just, like, sitting there like, "Jesus, what the hell?" Like, Dad, you're embarrassing
Dad, don't
me.
wear tights, Dad.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, my dad has more action figures than I do.
Yeah, I'm not sharing mine. What the
yeah.
hell?
I got a
You
big
get
toy
your own.
collection.
I
But
made
either-
you.
I'll
I
give you
made
allowance.
you.
You can spend them on figures, but you ain't touching mine.
Yeah. We could buy the exact
Start your
same
own
ones,
collection.
but yeah, we could buy the same ones. You could just have your own. Like, don't touch mine. It's my stuff.
I do feel like this show has a lot going for it. I think that overall it's gonna. Hopefully, if the rest of the series lives up to this first episode, then I think when all is said and done, this could be something that will stand out amongst the other MCU things. It's not only being different, but bringing a lot of light into, like, just different cultures and different topics that you wouldn't normally expect to see superhero property focus on. And
Yeah.
I never thought I would say that about Miss Marvel. I mean, like I said, this was my least excited project that they were bringing, it could very well be one of the best. But they've been on a pretty hot streak lately with Moon Knight and No Way Home and Doctor Strange. So we'll see. You know, I am definitely intrigued on where the story's going. Whether it'll be like something where all 6 episodes feel fulfilling. I can see it being a show that would work within 6 episodes, but who knows? We might get to that 6th episode and been like, yeah, no, they should have either made it longer or just made it a movie or something. But so far, I'm really digging what they're putting into it. I can tell that they have a lot of love and care for Kamala Khan.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I hope they redeem the hell out of She-Hulk, because to me right now, still looking like Friends, like bam 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 down down down.
Well,
Hulk, I'm She-Hulk.
It's
He's Bruce. I'm Jennifer.
It's time. I'm gonna be the odd man out here. I was not a huge fan of it. But to be fair, I knew that it wasn't gonna end up being my cup of tea. It's just, it could be enjoyed by other people. I personally did not care too much for it. It's at least better than what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be just straight up just unwatchable, but it's tolerable. It was, I could make it through. I personally feel it's gonna, I don't know. It had some interesting visuals and such, like you guys said. Like cinematography wise, it looked nice. The transitions, they were creative, but I feel like they were a little bit overdone. I hope that starts going away over time throughout the show. Like, because it makes it way too like through the eyes of a kid, and I know that that's what the show is going for right now. But at the end of the day, she is a superhero, and not everything's. We've seen Spider-Man: No Way Home. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows, and I feel like having all those flashy transitions and everything like that could be a hindrance in the long run in the MCU, because it pulls you out of it. It does that Deadpool effect that as much as I like Deadpool, I hate him when he does team-ups in the comics or in shows sometimes, because you're having these conflict of, like, tones. Like, you have
conflicting tones.
Yeah, something going down that's serious, and then Deadpool just breaks the fourth wall and brings you out of what's going on. It's like, so, like, let's say she's obviously going to join other heroes, especially in the Marvels movie that's coming up next year. She's going to be in on it. That's pretty much confirmed. So how would her style clash with something like, let's say, Carol Danvers and Spectrum are dealing with something that's pretty serious, and then all of a sudden you have like this big old LOL text smiley face just appear on one of like the stars or something. Like, it just it'd be weird. You guys
we'll have to see though if
that's what I'm saying.
In a kind of
bubbly personality
way, could transition into that pretty well. But you're right. If the whole show is the same kind of tone that this first episode was, and I do see it being kind of weird having that tone clash with what I think Marvel's is going to go for.
It's like it's in its own little bubble. Like, you could tell it's still part of the MCU, but it's its own like subsection. So
it's a part of the Spider-Man Homecoming MCU, not even No Way Home, just Homecoming.
But even then, like, how is it gonna like overall branch into the overall thing is where I'm kind of seeing it. And again, it does have a certain target demographic. I'm glad everyone else on the panel enjoyed it, because it does have the opportunity to bleed into other demographics, but it was just not catching my drift personally. I did like, what's it called, the overall characters, like the actress. She was actually doing a pretty fine job, in my opinion. She was.
I never seen her before, but she
was pretty charismatic. I liked her. So I like what she brings. I like the visuals, like you guys said, but those ADHD transitions, and as somebody who myself probably has ADHD, it gets overstimulating. It gets overwhelming really fast, and I don't know. Maybe it just for me, it was hard to keep up.
The whole show is like that.
It's hard to keep up. It becomes overwhelming. It's like just bam, 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 everything in your face.
Like, it does seem kind of similar to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which
Yeah.
for the first third of that movie, I'd say the first half of that movie, I was definitely on board. But I will say, by the time I got to the end, I was feeling a little bit like exhausted from all of the muchness of it. The Edgar Wrightiness of it all was kind of like, I was like, all right, we can tone it down a bit, and it definitely wasn't.
I don't know if
so I could see the same.
I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, even though I'm not that old. But when I was young, I loved Scott Pilgrim, and when I saw it again, I had the similar problem. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that movie, because I had a similar problem a few years back when I watched it, where I'm like, I liked it when I was like 16. But flash forward over a decade later, I rewatch
26, you're like,
and it's
still good. Don't get me wrong.
It was harder to watch than it used to be. I was able to watch that movie. I literally, when it first saw it, I saw it the first day, and then the next day I saw it again with my girlfriend, and I was super excited to see it and everything like that, and I could tolerate that. Again, I watched it maybe a year ago, and I was like, this isn't as good as I remember it was. It was still enjoyable, but it wasn't as good.
It's just got a lot going on.
And I feel like Miss Marvel's a similar tone. And I'm glad I watched it with my younger sister, who actually was, when it first came out, reading the Miss Marvel comic run. She actually enjoyed that character back when it was released. I don't know, like 2014 or 15. She enjoyed it, and she actually liked it. She's like, it stayed true to the characters for the most part. And she said that she could relate to her. She
Hello?
liked
Alex?
she liked the.
I thought that was me. Oh, there he is.
Are you talking
You're
to
back
me?
now.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was. She said they did the character justice. She said she could relate to this person, especially like Mr. Johnny Joestar said. Even though we're Hispanic, she said that it didn't matter that she was Hispanic and Miss Marvel was Muslim. It didn't matter that she was Muslim and my sister's Hispanic. That there was similarities, and she found her and her mom's relationship very relatable. And even I caught it, because that's the first thing I told my sister when we were watching it. I'm like, hey, it reminds me of Mom. But what's it called? It definitely seems like she is a demographic. She's literally 17. Yeah, it might sound like a bad brother, but I don't even know. No, she's 17.
Your sister.
Yeah, my sister. She just turned 17. That's why I usually have bad time remembering even my age. But yeah, she's 17, but she's around the same age, and she found it very relatable, and she enjoyed it. So obviously, she is the prime demographic for that. And not so much me, but it is a show that I will be enjoying alongside with her, because I know that she liked it, and it was fun watching it with her. It definitely, I got the most out of it watching it with someone who would enjoy it. But even then, I personally wouldn't say it's something I would watch again, and I'm like truly enjoying. It's just, like I said, something that's fun. Go through it. I could see myself actually finishing it versus beforehand, where I was looking at the trailers and I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'll be able to make it past the first episode. I was wrong. I'm glad I was, because it's at least watchable, and I am a little bit intrigued where the story's taking it. It felt a little bit safe, but in my opinion, like nothing groundbreaking story wise. But it's enough for me to be like, okay, I'll bite. I'll see where this goes.
Yeah. Can I ask though, like, so is her ability like the elastic? I thought she could like grow her fist really big, and then like in this one she has like a cosmic.
That's one of the main things. Like I was having like a little issue, because I know from the comics and stuff like that. Like from the things that I've seen from her is that like she's like her hands and her feet get big. So she can stretch, but her hand gets
So she can.
She
doesn't stretch the same way that like Mr. Fantastic does. What she does is she can take particles from from a different time in her life, like a different timeline version of her, and take those particles to make a part of her body in the present bigger.
And she could technically even shape. Yeah, she could shapeshift too.
Yeah, she can shapeshift.
Oh, cool.
They used to have it where she could kind of have like mystique powers, make herself look like someone else, but they kind of took that away.
They dialed that back.
Kind of kept the stretchy power. Yeah, they dialed that back because bit much, but her powers do stem from like Terrigen mists, which unlock the
Mhm.
Inhuman gene within the Inhumans. But they're definitely not going that route with this, I doubt. But
Doesn't
something
look
probably
that way.
kind of similar
Well,
anyway. I mean,
I
whatever her
don't
bracelet
know.
comes from is something
They
from her
could
family.
still tie it into Inhuman descendancy due to they
Mhm.
could say that.
I think it'll be like Kree though, like something to do with the Kree.
Well, that's what I'm
Like
saying.
how,
The Kree is the tie between the Inhumans and Carol Danvers himself or
okay,
herself.
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they could explore that aspect of it and kind of come full circle so that the people complaining that she's not Inhuman, which I don't understand why there was never a big demand for Inhumans. I mean, I know personally because I was in the group demanding Inhumans, but there was like 4 of us in the
Got the
team.
hooves.
But
The hooves.
yeah, I saw
The
that shit on
what?
IMAX. No, the hooves.
We got the hooves from the
Inhuman
Gorgon.
show. Gorgon's hooves.
Inhumans show.
It looked like boots with furs just hot glued onto there.
Boots
Terrible
with
show.
with the fur.
And we saw that stuff straight up in IMAX, so we saw every damn detail of that crap. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I have a feeling that they could still tie that bracelet into something Kree related. Maybe it has like a little bit of Terrigen mist infused. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. They might not even explain it in this show. It might be something in the Marvels. But we'll see. If not, she's a newer character. She doesn't have a huge fan base, so I feel like they're gonna take a lot of liberties like they did with the Eternals for her character, and turn her into a Green Lantern, basically.
We'll
Which
see.
is honestly okay, because they're still, and they actually did change her character up a little bit from the comics. She's a little more emo-ish in the comic, just a little bit. But I like how jovial she is, how much joy she brings to the MCU in general. I think that she's gonna be a welcome addition, who's only gonna get stronger as her years playing this character go on.
Yeah.
See, she kind of reminds me of Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld. I think the two of them acting alongside would be
Definitely get
fun to
along
watch.
together.
Yeah, but now that you bring
They're
that
both
up,
fangirls.
when they're both in the young, or not both, when they're all in the Young Avengers, imagine all that high energy that like Kate Bishop, she's bringing. Who else was freaking Wanda's kids and Cassie Lang
America Chavez,
and America
yeah.
Chavez,
Yeah,
like
Chavez.
all that energy
Patriot.
that they're all bringing in. They're all like super fun, peppy, like banter, going million miles an hour.
They'll all be older by the time they get to that, so hopefully that'll kind of be dialed back a bit. They'll be young, like they'll literally all be in their
Got to do
20s.
some things, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're getting it probably if I would take a guess, in a couple years, like 2 years at most. So they're not going to be
That's what I
much
mean.
old.
I mean, Miss Marvel actress will already be in her 20s. Haley Steinfeld will probably be close to 30. The Wanda's kids will be in their late teens. Like,
yeah, but
there won't be young. But
they're
they'll be
character wise, so they're. I mean, Tom Holland's
that's
like
true.
almost 30, and he's playing a
He's still playing a 18-year-old
high schooler. So, like the
Damn,
energy,
he is. Holy crap.
the energy.
Well, he's like 25 or
No, he's
26.
27.
He's 24.
Or 26.
Oh, he
He's
is?
my age.
Yeah,
He's
I thought he
literally
was 24.
no. He's from '94, I believe it was, which is 1
Oh
year
my
younger than I
gosh.
am.
And Tom Holland is 26, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Okay.
Wow.
yeah, and he's over there making millions, and I'm over here talking about him. But no,
I'm over
but
here
much
having
love
people
to
tell me
to
that I
Tom
look like the
Holland
guy who
though.
made him.
Yeah, he's earned all his millions though. He's a great
Yes,
guy. He's a
it's-
good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that like I'm saying, it's just gonna be crazy to see all that like young, like tween energy going on a team, and seeing how the adults, like the older Avengers, handle this younger group. It's definitely gonna like give a weird dynamic that should be really interesting to see unfold on the big screen. They should get Vision back and have him be like the babysitter or something,
Sean.
Yeah.
wearing his turtlenecks and rallying up the kids. But
We need to have Morbius be the babysitter.
Oh, God.
man.
Oh, God.
Morbid
No.
time. Everyone go to bed.
No.
Yeah.
I thought we agreed no Morbin time this episode.
All right. No Morbin time.
He got one, and I think that's allowed.
Okay, you
Yeah.
get your one. You get your,
That's it.
But we mentioned
That's it.
we mentioned it at the beginning though.
Oh,
So
yes.
strike one, Mr.
I was
Oyman.
talking to someone. Talking to a
Strike
car
one.
repair guy.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm glad that everyone enjoyed that episode of Miss Marvel. So we'll definitely be tuning in to this episode this week. Anyone want to say any final thoughts before we sign off for this week?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you all for listening. If you've made it this far, and
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
that you
Well,
continue
I was about to
listen.
do the closer.
Well, that was my closing lines, but you do the official closing.
All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of Marvel Mondays. This is your host Tex-Mex Morty on the Screen Crusader channels. Once again, we would truly appreciate it if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button. Share us out to your friends and family. Maybe get them to join next week. Join like Mr. Rusty Shackleford over here. Have some fun conversations that will detour some of our topics and just get this crazy panel going. Maybe even keep them in check because they get a little bit too wild sometimes. But speaking of the panel, thank you guys so much for coming in. It's always a blast to have you guys come in.
Oh yeah.
Of course,
I appreciate
anytime.
I appreciate it, Mr. Joe Star, JT, Miss Cap, and of course the best co-host on this panel here. Well, the only co-host, but
Stop it.
the best co-host on this side of the country. I'll narrow it down because he does talk about Morbius, but Mr. Oyman, I really do appreciate everyone coming. And for all you true believers, join us next week, of course, on Monday at 7:30. Until next time.
You know how much I sacrificed?